I'm Michael Laron, and this is the Writer's Journey podcast, where you get a window into the life of a working science fiction and fantasy author. I'm on a mission to go from nobody to bestseller, and I'm documenting every step of the way. Tune in every week as I share my progress and discover what inspires my books and how I write them. You can find the show notes for today's episode at michaellaron.com/podcast. This week, I'm talking about the writing life. Hello and welcome to episode 34. We're into November, and in the United States, we celebrate Thanksgiving. I thought I'd use thankfulness as a theme for this month and use this week to talk about things that I'm grateful for as a writer. I believe that gratitude is important not just as a writer, but in life. It makes you happier. There have been so many times when I've been wrapped up in the fast lane of life and have had to pull back and reconnect with what's important. First, I'm grateful for the fact that I can choose my own path in publishing. I don't have to have a big-name publisher behind me to be successful as a writer. Instead, I publish my own work and go directly to my readers, and the quality of my work is such that readers choose to spend their hard-earned money on my books. That's incredible and incredibly humbling. I talk all the time about how being on my deathbed inspired me to take my career into my own hands, even if it meant risking failure. I've done okay so far, and I'm grateful for that. The next thing I'm grateful for as a writer is the ability to choose what I want to write. I'm not pigeonholed into one genre. I can write space opera, urban fantasy, romance, poetry, whatever I want. I can write the stories that drive me. Sure, some may be less commercially viable than others, but I've always taken the long-term view that I'd rather be successful writing the stories that make me come alive. That way, when I am successful, it's because I did it my way. And if I fail, at least I failed giving it my all. It might take me longer than others to get where I want to go, but I don't believe that I'll fail. In fact, I know I'm on the right path because my instinct tells me so, and I'm grateful for the fact that I can be the steward of my career and not put it in the hands of a publisher or a literary agent. The next thing I'm grateful for is my readers. I've been amazed by the diversity of people who have read my books over the years. One in particular will always stand out in my mind. A blind reader contacted me a few years ago and told me how much he liked my book Magic Souls. He loved the interactive parts. That a blind reader would read my book, an interactive ebook at that, and enjoy rereading it was just incredible to me. No matter what walk of life they come from, country, race, sexual orientation, you name it, I'm grateful for the people who read my books and find fulfillment in them. I'm also grateful for the people who read my books and leave bad reviews too, because in a weird, sick, twisted way, they help keep other bad readers and trolls away, since their reviews help others determine if my book is a good fit for them. Speaking of odd things to be grateful for, the next thing I'm grateful for is writer's block. Though I don't believe in writer's block in the common sense of the word, I'm grateful for all those times I've been stuck in a manuscript and didn't know what to do next. More often than not, those moments when I was on the edge of despair and ultimate failure, and the times where I've had to dig deep into my soul as a writer, that's when I wrote my best work. So yes, I'm grateful for writer's block, as funny as that sounds. For more info on how I deal with writer's block, check out episode 24 called How I Deal with Writer's Block. You can find it at www.michaellaron.com/episode 24. The next thing I'm grateful for as a writer is the fact that there are so many ways of connecting with readers. Social media, blogging, podcasting, online video. Marketing is a choose-your-own-adventure that you can tailor to suit your personality. For example, I'm not a picture person, so Instagram or Pinterest aren't sites that I'll ever be popular on. I'm a quiet introvert, and I don't have the most charming or charismatic personality, but I found a medium to channel my personality so that the best parts come shining through. One, on this solo podcast every week, and two, my YouTube channel. With podcasting and video, I can take my time and create my content in my own way, in my own style, and I've been fairly successful at it. If I only had the option of using Facebook or only using Twitter or only using Instagram, then there would have been no way for me to reach new audiences. Not in my most authentic self. I'm grateful for the fact that I can be authentic and build a tribe of people around me as a result. The next thing I'm grateful for is my mentors. I've had a lot of writing mentors over the years, and I'm grateful for the fact that they were able to blaze new trails and share what they learned to make it easier for all of us. In a way, that's what I'm doing with this podcast, creating my own path and sharing what works for me in hopes that it will help someone else. I believe in paying it forward. And last but not least, I'm grateful for you, the people listening to this podcast. When I started the writer's journey, I expected it to fail. I didn't think anyone would listen to it. After all, solo podcasts are out of vogue, and I'm not podcasting about popular topics like nutrition, fitness, motivation, or sex. I'm grateful that you guys tune in to listen to me every week, and that I've somehow found a way to make my life interesting enough to be a podcast every week. So thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining me this week. If you enjoyed the show, here are a couple ways to help a brother out. If you're listening to this on Anchor, favorite the show. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, do me a favor and write me a review and share it with your friends. You can, of course, visit my website and learn more about my work at michaellaron.com. If you have a question, send me a voice message on Anchor and you just might hear it on the show. Next week, I'll be reading a page from my writer's sketchbook. Until then, I leave you with a quote. When I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around. Willie Nelson.